Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to Sister Wives with Mary Jane K. Today, I'll be giving my commentary on Seeking Sister Wife, Season 5, Episode 11, Seeking a Connection. The episode opens with the Davis family. Nick and Jasmine are out on their first one-on-one date, and Nick escorts Jasmine straight from the car to a horse and carriage. I felt it was lame. How cliche. Nick gushes over how drop dead gorgeous he finds Jasmine. And he comments that Jasmine is even hotter than he is. What an ego on Nick. It's great to have self-confidence. It's good to be realistic too. Nick way overestimates himself, his intelligence, his looks. Maybe he overestimates Jasmine too. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And it's really ultimately about the way a person is. It's how they behave, their personality, how they choose to move through life, their way. And, maybe Nick and Justin will vibe. Maybe they're on the same wavelength. They are really enjoying the sunset in this carriage ride, and Nick is grinning ear to ear. He is salivating like a hungry dog, just ready to go. He is on cloud nine in his lime green pimp shirt, with his matching pocket square. He's missing the hat and cane though. I wish he went that far. I seriously do. Jasmine is really into Nick. The chemistry is there, guys. It's definitely in the air. Jasmine is concerned with acclimating to the polygamous lifestyle. She hasn't dated multiple people at the same time. And so she usually does monogamy. That's what she's used to. This is going to be a big change. And Nick really wants to connect with Jasmine, to take this time to connect, because Jasmine really hit it off with his wives. Nick isn't really sure how much of the relationship structure his wives have discussed with Jasmine, but he tells Jasmine that spirituality is something they keep based in science and based in mathematics. He says they like to stay grounded, and Jasmine says she gets it. She is totally feeling Nick's vibe. These two are birds of a feather. And she's an intellectual too. She tells Nick that they have seen things. They've seen things grow. Viruses, plants, bacteria. And there's validation in science. Things grow. And science, there is some validity to it according to Jasmine. Because of all the things that grow in nature, the viruses, bacteria, the plants and animals. So she concedes there's probably some validity to science. Jasmine feels she was raised eclectically. Her mom is a reverend and she studied 8 religions, and each time she got into a new religion, she introduced her daughter Jasmine to them as she was studying them. So Jasmine is a pagan, and she feels that pagans attract the most outward of a relationship. And Jasmine says being in a pagan household means they always dealt with a lot of diversity. There was always a lot of exposure to the ways of other people. So Jasmine says that she has always had an otherworldliness about her, what she classifies as an otherworldliness. And she gives us more depth into that. She says she isn't quite completely present here because of this otherworldliness about her. Now, I wonder if she's not completely present here in the here and now. Is part of her time traveling back to 1960? Is she permanently astral projecting? Where is the other part of Jasmine, and in what dimension, in what time? Now, Jasmine feels that she has 2 goddesses from 2 different pantheons watching over her. One is Buddhist and one is an old African god. And she says her goddesses have been really good to her, and she's completely secure now. She wasn't completely secure about this. She fought it for a while, but these 2 ladies, these 2 goddesses resonate with who she is. They resonate with who she wants to be, and now she's more secure. Nick is very curious about Jasmine. He wants to pick the depths of Jasmine's brain on philosophy, on spirituality, on the big ideas. But first, he would really like to get his dick wet. Nick finds it unusual that Jasmine is pagan. He doesn't have a problem with it, but he wishes his wives had warned him about this. He wishes his wives had prepared him for what he refers to as Jasmine's uniqueness. Nick doesn't have any expectations for how things should develop with Jasmine. He knows he won't be easy, but he promises Jasmine that all of it will be worth it going through this process. And Jasmine agrees that nothing is really easy in life. Nothing is really easy all of the time. And she throws out, not even eating is easy. Jasmine says she asphyxiates all the time when she eats. And so Nick cautions her to chew her food and to slow down. Wow, love is in the air. Now, Jasmine says she doesn't have time for chewing. Who has time for that? She says nobody does. She wants to take a walk on the wild side. She would rather leave it to chance, throw caution to the wind. Fuck chewing your food. Fuck it. Let's hope she doesn't leave it to chance a time too many. Nick is mesmerized by Jasmine. He's thinking with his little brain, but he feels Jasmine is all curveballs. She might be a little too crazy, even for him. Nick at this point is dying to kiss Jasmine, and he lets her know they have a kiss in the horse carriage ride through the city. And all I can think of while I'm watching this is the Seinfeld episode with Kramer, and I think it was called The Beefarino and the horse and Susan's parents. That was a good episode. I think it was called The Rye Bread. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. Maybe it was the rye. Jasmine is into Nick. She sees Nick's uniqueness. She loves what she refers to as his adorableness, his ability to flaunt without flaunting. Oh yeah, Nick is so subtle. He is just elegant. And she feels that he's flashy at the same time, and she likes his confidence. So let me ask you this. How can you be flashy and also have the ability to flaunt without flaunting? There's a fine line, by the way, between confidence and ego. She likes Nick's confidence, but will she like Nick's ego? Nick, of course, notices that Jasmine can say some pretty off-the-wall things that leave him scratching his head. Nick says Jasmine, she has her own lane, she operates in that lane, and Nick feels it's just a part of Jasmine's personality and it's going to take getting used to. Jasmine might be too inconvenient for Nick. We'll see. Nick and Jasmine, they're having such a great time. They want to extend their date, so they go somewhere to talk. And with that, we go to the Sherwoods next, but it's not over with the Nick and Jasmine show. Ashley and Shane Sherwood. And there are some big developments. Shane and Ashley had their beautiful baby boy. The producer is asking Shane and Ashley questions, and she asks Ashley how she feels about Sarah. And at this point, during the confessional scene with Shane and Ashley and the producer, Sarah's saying she feels good about Sarah, like she isn't walking on eggshells. She talks about feeling comfortable and feeling natural with Sarah, and she points out that she isn't having to think about every word. She isn't having to make sure about every word she says being calculated, having everything be extremely thought through thoroughly before it comes out of her mouth, because she can just be herself with Sarah. It can flow naturally. She can feel comfortable to just say what's on her mind the way she usually does. She usually likes to speak her mind, and with other people like Grace, for example, she had to hold back. She had to really think things through, which is unlike her true personality. So she loves that with Sarah, she can be herself. More comfortable, it's more natural. And right after Ashley gets done saying this, Ashley's phone keeps blowing up. She keeps getting calls from Sarah. So Ashley responds, and of course, it seems very staged. It probably was. Sarah wants to stop by to talk to Shane and Ashley. She's already on her way there. That's how much she wants to talk to them. So Ashley tells Sarah it's fine for her to come. Shane is worried. He feels like if this goes bad, it's going to go really bad and it'll be really tough for them. And it'll be tough for them to go on with their day of filming, with their interviews, with their confessional scenes. So Sarah arrives and she seems serious right from the get-go. And Shane is thinking something must be wrong here. Yesterday, Sarah agreed to be exclusive with Shane and Ashley. They spoke to Sarah all through dinner, all through last night. They talked to her all last night, back and forth. And this morning, she even initiated a good morning text. So the Sherwoods were thinking that things were really good with Sarah. We hear from Sarah. Now, Sarah admits that she was up all night with this decision. She was caught really off guard with meeting Shane and Ashley, going on the date with Ashley first, and meeting Shane just the day before. And she really likes Shane and Ashley a lot, but she feels that everything happened way too fast. She wasn't ready for it. She wasn't ready to have this thing be serious. And Sarah points out that they both said because they get attached so quickly that she has to commit to them. So she doesn't think it's fair to say just because they get attached so quickly that she has to create the attachment with them when she doesn't feel that. By being committed, by being serious in this relationship just because they get attached. And she isn't really ready for a serious relationship or a commitment or any of that. Shane is really confused and he asks Sarah if she wants to continue trying this or not. And Sarah makes it clear she doesn't want to continue on right now. It's too much for her. And she says she just isn't ready to make that commitment. This doesn't feel right for her. Ashley is in tears and Shane is caught off guard. Kind of tries to guilt Sarah. He tells Sarah that Ashley was really excited about her. He thought Sarah was interested in them. And Sarah apologizes. She tells them it's not them, it's her. She's just not ready for this. Sarah handled this the right way. She tells them personally. She drives over to their house. She communicates clearly. And Ashley really appreciates that Sarah did that she had this conversation. And Sarah explains she didn't want to prolong this and make this a harder conversation to have later on. And I think that's something that's commendable. She didn't string anyone along. She didn't just go along with this because she's uncomfortable. She stopped it before it started, before everyone got even more attached and more emotionally invested. And she did the right thing. This was a hard conversation to have. She didn't do it through text. She didn't leave a voicemail. She came in person. She communicated clearly. She had the conversation. And I think that was awesome. There's a really awkward silence. Ashley apologizes to Sarah for making it feel like it was all too much and putting too much pressure on her. And she really points out that she appreciates that Sarah took the time to really speak to them in person. Sarah explains that she ended things because she isn't going to base a major decision in her life, a commitment, on someone else feeling a way about her and expecting her to do this. She says her independence is so important to her, and she isn't ready to allow someone else to have that control over her. Well said. This is not for Sarah, and Sarah handled it really well. Ashley and Shane are shocked, and Shane feels that Sarah fucked them over, and he says he feels betrayed. He's angry over this, and I was surprised by this. Shane is yelling, he's cussing after Sarah leaves when he's talking with Ashley. He says he can't believe Sarah did that, and he wonders what kind of a person does that? What kind of a person gives false hope and rips it out from in front of you less than a day later? She did nothing wrong. I think she was honest and she was open and she communicated with empathy. What more can she do? She has to be real with herself and honest with herself. Shane says only a fucked up person would do that, and he cusses a lot. There's a lot bleeped out, and he says he knew it, as if he's the victim and Sarah is the bad guy who did them wrong when she did nothing wrong at all. Ashley is speechless. She doesn't know how to wrap her brain around what just happened. She has no clue. Shane asks Ashley how she's feeling, and Ashley wasn't expecting this to happen. This isn't what she expected. This isn't what she anticipated happening. She's in tears and she just feels defeated. Shane is really worried about Ashley. He dotes on her a lot, and he asks Ashley if she's okay. And apparently he's asked so many times that Ashley just wants him to stop asking her. At this point, Shane gets up to take a little break, walk off, and Ashley thought it would really work out, and it didn't work out. And so now it's a lot for her to process because she was expecting something else. You should never have those kind of expectations until you get to stages where it's realistic to have them. Ashley says with this dating thing, things always go back and they go forth, back and forth, and you never know what to believe when a person tells you they're in, when a person tells you they want to do this. You never know if you should believe them. My opinion is I really don't think Ashley is sad about Sarah, and I don't even think that Shane is mad at Sarah the way he's acting angry. I think that Ashley is projecting her emotions about her husband's illness and her anger and her fear onto the situation with Sarah. That's just my thoughts. And I think Shane was irrationally angry, blaming Sarah, denigrating her, putting her down, when she was a class act, and she handled this very maturely and very well. She ended it in a very appropriate way. She was very sensitive, and she was as honest as she could be. And she did the right thing. She did it in person. If this was not for her, it's best to end things sooner rather than to prolong them and make this harder to do and more painful for everyone. It's crueler to make this go on and on and on. It hurts more to prolong it. She did the right thing. When she knew this wasn't for her, she handled it right away. Shane shouldn't be blaming Sarah. I think he's just sad about his health situation, and he sees his wife sad, and then it makes him angry to see his wife go through pain. I think these two should just be there for each other while they can. They should treasure their time. They should enjoy their family while they can. I think dating someone is really, their pursuit of a sister wife is really about ignoring Shane's health and the emotions and the residual baggage they have surrounding that. It's deflecting and putting everything into dating someone. And I think dating someone and the idea of potentially having the sister wife gives both of them a false sense of security when there's no guarantee it would ever work out long term anyway. And I think Ashley really focuses on finding someone and the false sense of security, the false sense of peace of mind, rather than dealing with her emotions about Shane. And I think Shane is in this because he just wants to feel like Ashley is okay, like Ashley at least has someone, even though there's no guarantee that that someone would really work out long term. If this is what Shane and Ashley truly want for the right reasons, I hope it works out. I want them to have peace of mind. I want them to feel good about their situation. But they should really, in my opinion, they should really be focusing on each other. I think this is just too much. Sarah did what was right for her. I think she did a great job with the breakup conversation, if you even want to call it a breakup, because they were never really together. I think it's understandable that Sarah felt pressure, and in the moment she resorted to agreeing to something she later thought through. And I think she did the right thing when she knew it wasn't for her, and she isn't the bad guy at all. I was annoyed that Shane blamed her with the way he carried on with his anger. I didn't think it was right. I get that Shane doesn't want to see his wife upset. And when he sees his wife sad, when he sees his wife upset, when he sees her emotionally suffering, he gets angry and he directs that anger in the wrong place. But ultimately, Sarah did the right thing. And, you know, would Shane rather see his wife less upset now or more upset later? His anger was definitely misdirected. Next, we're back to the Salahuddins, and this is right after the fight Nyla and Naeem's mom had. Now, Naeem and Nyla got home with Jahari after the disastrous lunch with Naeem's mom. Things got out of control, and Naeem isn't okay. Naeem, of course, is pissed that his wife and his mother were about to physically fight. Nyla admits that is not the first time something like that has happened with Naeem's mom. Naeem is not okay with it. Nyla says her turning point during that conversation with Naeem's mom was when she brought her daughter into it. Nyla says Naeem's mom doesn't even have a relationship with her. She doesn't try to foster a relationship with her granddaughter. And Nyla feels if Naeem's mom really cared about her granddaughter, she would be making that effort. Naeem feels this is not okay. He says at that lunch, he asked his wife to be quiet, to tone it down, because he knew his mom would pop off. He's really disappointed about what happened. And he says what happened between his mom and his wife never wanted to ever happen. But he gets why his wife got upset, and he got upset too. And he says his mom doesn't know their daughter, and his mom doesn't know the relationship that they have with their daughter. They constantly talk to her, they constantly communicate with their daughter, and they make sure that their daughter is okay in every aspect of life. Nyla doesn't like Naeem's mom's insinuation that she knows their child. Nyla says Naeem's mom, she can have her opinions, but she can't say it's because she cares about her grandchild when she can't even pronounce her grandchild's name. That's what Nyla alleges. Nyla says her daughter has seen polygamy. She is raised in the Muslim faith. She's seen polygamy. She's been exposed to it, and she knows what's up with it. And Nyla's friend asks, since Naeem's mom is so uncomfortable with the subject of polygamy, she wonders why Naeem and Nyla continue to just force this down her throat when it's clearly not going to work out. Naeem's mom may never accept it, and she doesn't have to accept it. Naeem wants a relationship with his mom, and he feels like if he's involved in a relationship with a sister wife, he needs her to know about it. He needs her to accept it. He needs her to accept that this is a part of his life and be good with it. And Nyla's friend noticed that there was some disrespect. When they got to that point, she really tried to dial Nyla back, to dial the whole conversation back, to keep the peace, because Naeem's mom felt disrespected. And Jahari points out quite astutely that Naeem's mom felt disrespected. She felt embarrassed. And when she felt embarrassed, she felt shame. And that shame made Naeem's mom show her behind. And then it went left. Jahari felt they all pushed each other's buttons. All of them are at fault for this, and it's about respect ultimately and carrying yourself at a certain level at all times. Even when you're emotional, even when your feelings are hurt, you have to maintain control. Amen. This is sound advice. We're getting sound advice on a TLC show. This lady should be a life coach. She probably is. That's very sage advice. Naeem and Nyla should be listening to her. Jahari comes with more wisdom next. She tells the Salahuddins that they need to learn to communicate effectively without anyone pointing fingers or calling names or being disrespectful. And she thinks if they do that, eventually the communication line might not be so choppy with Naeem's mom. Nyla's friend wonders if Naeem's mom never accepts this, what will happen. She wonders if the Salahuddins can have their polygamous relationship and keep Naeem's mom separate from that. Naeem says that's not ideal, but he'll do that if he has to. He says he isn't going to make somebody, the potential sister wife, feel like an outsider when he is with them. He says it won't last if his mom doesn't accept it. Nyla wonders what would happen if Naeem was out with the new wife and the kids while she was home alone. You know what? Maybe Naeem should take a leaf out of Garrick's book and just marry a third wife. So when he is occupied with a wife, there will never be a wife lonely. Sister, just like sisters. He should ask Garrick and Danielle about that. Naeem is very hurt by what happened with his mom. He is fine with his mom not accepting his lifestyle. But he says it's not about her accepting polygamy. It's about respect, bottom line. Nyla, of course, didn't mean for things to go so far. She knows it wasn't easy for her husband to see her and his mom going at it. She really wanted to address it. She didn't mean for it to escalate so much. But she really hopes that Naeem's mom will accept their lifestyle because she knows Naeem really wants his mom in his life. Naeem's going to talk to his mom eventually. He feels things went way too far. And Nyla feels although they have challenges on the journey to find a sister wife, she wants to continue to push forward with polygamy regardless of all the risks because she believes in living polygamy so strongly. And she says, with anything in life, nothing goes easy. Things that are good for you won't always be easy to accomplish. Things that are good are hard to get sometimes. And Nyla feels that's why this is hard, that it's going to be so good, that it's going to pay off. Good luck when the jealousy and the insecurity and the competition and the envy kick in. I wonder if she truly, fully understands what she's in for emotionally. And Naeem insists he isn't giving up. Next up are the psycho stalkers, the Ryans, Becky and Justin. Becky and Justin are going out because Becky is meeting Yari for the first time, and her kids are helping her pick outfits. It's Yari's birthday dinner. Now, Becky's daughter worries that Becky might outshine Yari. I doubt it. Becky is going to be meeting Yari for the first time, and she wants Yari to know, since it's her first time meeting her, and it's Yari's birthday, that she will do anything and everything to make Yari feel special. And to know that she knows that today is about her. Since it's Yari's birthday, it's going to be all about Yari. Becky is nervous about meeting Yari. She says it was different with Stephanie. She met Stephanie right away. They knew each other before Stephanie dated them. But with Yari, other than what Justin has told her about Yari, Becky really doesn't have a feel for this. She doesn't have a feel for Yari. She doesn't have her vibe. She doesn't know what it is yet. She really hasn't spoken to Yari. So she really doesn't have an impression yet in her mind other than everything Justin said through Justin. Now, Becky's daughter says she doesn't know much about polygamy. She wants her parents to do whatever makes them happy, but she's concerned that Becky has 6 kids with Justin. And now there's going to be this woman coming in, and this woman might not feel as important. And she doesn't want there to be conflict with the relationship or in the dynamics of their family because of this polygamy. Now, Becky wants Yari to like her. She wants things to be good. And she says she knows this will be the point where Yari will decide if she wants to continue to date them or if she decides she just can't do it. Back to the Sherwoods, Ashley had her adorable baby. So cute. OMG. Just heart-melty adorableness. Shane and Ashley have a beautiful family. Now, Ashley feels better about everything that happened. Now, after having the baby, they feel relieved, like they really dodged a bullet with Sarah. Shane felt that Sarah wasn't honest with them from the get-go. Wait a minute. Speaking of honesty, were they honest? Did they tell Sarah about Shane's health and why they want to rush into this and how all of this would fall on Sarah? Sarah isn't the bad guy. She handled the breakup conversation very well. She was very classy and very mature about it. She didn't mislead anyone just because she wasn't down to make a commitment, a serious commitment after less than a handful of dates. She went on a one-on-one date with Ashley and then a date with Shane and Ashley together. That's not enough to make a commitment. You would have to be stupid. You would have to be desperate to feel sure or to be 100% ready to commit if someone wanted to commit that fast after 2 dates. I'd be wondering what their motives are for wanting a relationship with me and wanting to rush it. Ashley and Shane say they aren't giving up on dating. They are just pausing the dating to adjust to the new normal, to the new baby. The new baby is a lot. Ashley's body is dealing with a lot. She's dealing with postpartum. And Ashley decided there's just no time to date now, but ultimately they want to pursue it again. And Shane has good news. He got his results back. Shane and Ashley make a pact to not let it go that long again. Shane wants to go from now on to get tested regularly every 6 months. And Shane feels like things are really falling into place. They had their baby boy, and Shane's cancer screen was good. Wow, that's amazing news. There is no new growth, and he goes back in 6 months to check again. And the results are going to be good too. They're going to stay good. I'm just going to put that out there in the universe. They both feel really grateful, of course, for the positive results that Shane is healthy now. They had avoided his testing, but now they vow to really keep up with it and to stay healthy for their kids as long as possible. And that is their priority now. So they are both committed. And Shane says they didn't have a plan, until after this. So now he wonders if they will level out because things have all gone so fast. He and Ashley got married, they had kid after kid, so now they just want to enjoy life. They want to cruise through life, they want to enjoy it. And Ashley still wants to explore her bisexuality, and the end goal is still to find someone to bring into a relationship with her, with Shane, and with the family, to marry this person and to co-parent together, to do it all, everything in life together. Those two have an adorable family. They have blessings in their beautiful, healthy children, and they deserve peace and love. And I hope that Shane is healthy and he lives a long, healthy life for the rest of his life, seeing his kids grow, because that's what he deserves. The world needs more Shanes. I like Shane a lot, even despite his anger, misdirected anger this episode. Back to Nick and Jasmine. They want to keep their date going, and Nick wants to really pick Jasmine's brain to find out what type of person Jasmine is. Nick wants to know if Jasmine sees this long-term or not, and he gushes over how phenomenal Jasmine looks as he eye fucks her, salivating over his steak. He tells Jasmine he spends a lot of time focused on her mind and on her psychology, but just because he does that, he doesn't want to give the impression, of course, that he doesn't want to get his dick wet stat. He is DTF. Nick tells Jasmine he doesn't want her body if he can't have access to her mind. Jasmine assures him he won't have access to her body, no trespassing, until he has access to her mind. He has to unlock her mind first. Nick laughs, she laughs, they are glad, they both agree. Nick is worried if Jasmine sees his dick, she might get dickmatized, so he wants to pace himself. He doesn't want Jasmine to get swept away by his dick. He tells Jasmine his sex is a powerful thing, and he doesn't want to put it out there just yet. He doesn't want Jasmine to get too caught up or too wrapped up or too dickmatized. Vomit in my mouth. Men who brag about their dicks usually aren't the ones who know what to do with them, and they usually don't have anything to write home about. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, Nick says he wants to wait on the dick until Jasmine can decide with a clear mind that she wants this, that she wants to be there, that she wants to do this polygamous dating thing. Now, Jasmine admits she has a tendency to have a lot of trouble connecting with people, but she feels like she might actually be connecting with Nick, though. Birds of a feather, birds of a feather. Nick asks Jasmine if she sees her involvement with the family could potentially be permanent. And Jasmine thinks that it's possible. She feels the wives are great. And he agrees as he has his hand resting on Jasmine's ass. Nick is curious to know if Jasmine would like to come spend the weekend overnight with them at the house, just to do a test run, just to see how it goes. He wants to bang. Jasmine warns she wants to take things slow. Nick tells her it's okay. He looks disappointed though. And Jasmine says the only thing she will ask for is patience. Nick is discovering a lot out about Jasmine. He says Jasmine is an independent woman, and he says women who are able to do things their own way, living life on their own terms, that is what he's into. He likes independent women. And Nick thinks Jasmine might be a really good candidate for his family, but his biggest concern is not disturbing the peace and the harmony they have at home. They already share that home with Danielle, and he doesn't want to rock the boat. Next up are the Ryans, and it's go time. Justin wonders if Yari will show up. He points out that people back out after promising things, after promising dates, after promising commitment. People just back out, and he is cynical as fuck about this. But Becky and Justin meet Yari at the restaurant. They get there, and she is already there. Justin had his doubts that she would even show up. Becky says she knows that Yari will like her once she meets her, and she believes that will give them a better chance of things working out. And she feels Yari will understand the relationship and the lifestyle more that they're looking for if she likes Becky, if they have a close relationship. Before they meet up with Yari, Justin is very nervous and he is worried. His main concern is he doesn't want to go into the restaurant and request a table for 3 only to be stood up. He thinks that's super embarrassing. He says if he asks for a table for 3 and Yari stands him up, he will look like a loser. He doesn't want to look like a fool in a restaurant, but he obviously doesn't mind doing so on a TV show. How is Becky assuming, by the way, that Yari will like her? Becky seems desperate for a friend. We saw how hard she was grasping at straws, pleading with Stephanie to just stay friends with her. Becky, in my opinion, doesn't need a friend. Becky probably needs a therapist. And I think Becky thinks that she can manipulate Yari or the next woman by just faking being sweet and nice and amenable and people-pleasing to make whatever sister wife, whatever woman they're dating, agree to this craziness. But at the end of the day, when you spend time with a person, when you live with a person, when you marry their husband, inevitably the jig is up. The mask will eventually slip and Yari or the next girl will see how Becky is, how desperate she is, how disingenuous she is. And she will run because as much as Becky thinks she wants this and she won't be jealous and she won't be insecure, as much as she portrays that she's just this meek and sweet and nice person under that innocent smile she gives off, scary, stalker, single white female vibes. She gives off a vibe of desperation, of thirst, of a lack of boundaries, of jealousy, of insecurity, of entitlement. And she seems like a person who seems to think that she and her husband are entitled to these people they date just because they are so into them. They never take into account the other person and their feelings. It's all about them and what they want and how they feel. And that's not how it works. These two give me the creeps. Justin says he is vibing with Yari, but until Yari meets Becky, Justin won't know if he has a future with Yari. That can't happen unless all 3 of them vibe together. Becky gushes that Yari is just Justin's type. She's super pretty and she works out. So Becky knows Justin is into her. And Justin puts it as saying, Yari is hot. He likes her a lot. He likes her a lot. His little brain is totally down. Justin pulls out Yari's chair. He's quite the gentleman. But Becky isn't accepting the same chivalry. She sits down before Justin can even get to it. Justin really wants Becky and Yari to connect during this meeting. He really wants them to hit it off. Yari, of course, hasn't ever heard of polygamy before. So Justin knows that they need to take it really slow. It's awkward silence at first, and Becky has an interrogation planned for Yari. Becky asks Yari the standard icebreakers at first, what she likes to do for fun, and she likes the gym. She's a woman of few words. As they eat in awkward silence, and this whole date, in my opinion, is so cringe. Justin feels that around Becky, unfortunately, Yari is less affectionate with him. She's less flirty with him. When it's the 3 of them, Yari is much more reserved. And of course, Justin wants some lovin'. Now, Becky asks Yari how last night's date with Justin went. And Yari says it was a good time. It's super awkward when Becky asks Yari about this because Yari isn't sure how Becky's going to react. Yari isn't sure how deep Becky's going to go with all the questions. Yari just guzzles down her drink when the questions start, and Justin looks constipated. He isn't sure what's going to fly out of Becky's mouth. Next, Becky asks if Yari and Justin discussed anything important like the future or plans for the future. Mind you, Justin and Yari have only been on one date. So Yari asks Justin if they discussed it. And Justin says they didn't discuss it because it was too early to discuss that for the first one-on-one date. Now, Becky says She admits she has a strong personality and she says some people don't like it. Strong or manipulative and controlling? Which one? She also seems to feel entitled to people and she has no boundaries. Like, for example, showing up at Stephanie's door when she wasn't welcome. I don't blame the people who don't like Becky's personality. Becky asks Yari if she and Justin kissed. It is so weird. There is so much cringe. There is so much awkwardness. And Justin looks pissed that Becky is asking these questions. Yari admits they did kiss, and she is super uncomfortable. This is her first time meeting Becky. And Yari asks if Justin told her about it. And Justin tells Yari that Becky asked him, and Becky lets Yari know she always asks Justin, and Justin, her husband, always tells her everything because he is so honest. Yari feels nervous. She doesn't know how Becky will react. This is her first time meeting her. She only went on one date with Justin. This is too much. She says she doesn't want to make Becky feel bad. She doesn't want to make Becky feel jealous. Becky doesn't stop there. She asks how the first kiss went. And she tells Yari that the female gauge for things is usually the first kiss. This is so fucking cringe. The way Becky asks these questions, it's like she has the maturity of a teenager in middle school. This is really embarrassing for her. I think that Becky knows full well that Yari is uncomfortable. And I think she's doing this on purpose with intention, kind of getting off on Yari's discomfort. And that's a huge red flag and it's weird. Becky says it doesn't bother her to discuss this stuff, but she doesn't seem to worry about if it bothers Yari or if it makes Yari uncomfortable. She seems to not give a fuck about Yari's comfort level. And Justin wishes Becky didn't bring up the kiss this early with things. And Justin feels that Yari is already uncomfortable discussing these things. He knows that. So he wishes Becky would lay off, at least for now. Becky asks Yari if Justin has talked to her about the lifestyle, and she asks if Yari has questions about how polygamy works. Yari asks Becky why and how she and Justin decided to do this. And Becky says they always felt they were open to polygamy and they both agreed to pursue polygamy together. And Yari asks if their marriage is routine, if it's all the same thing, if it's the same all the time, if it just gets boring, if it just gets monotonous, if that's what led them to polygamy. And Justin says their marriage is the same like everybody else's. And Becky asks if Yari thinks she could do this for real, if she could commit. Yari isn't sure. She feels this is something very new for her. It's the first time she has ever even heard about polygamy. I'm not sure Becky buys that. Becky thinks Yari might be the one person in the world who has never heard of polygamy. Yari understands that the reality is with a lot of married monogamous couples that the husband or wife will cheat on the side, they'll have someone else, they'll keep that a secret, and polygamy could be an alternative to that. And Becky feels instead of the wife getting cheated on with polygamy, the wife has the benefit of having a best friend, someone to share their life with. And that's the way she and Justin see it. So basically, Justin wants to get some strange, and he and his wife have a family already. She doesn't want to leave Justin. She doesn't want Justin to leave the family. So instead of letting him cheat and turning a blind eye or opening their marriage, she wants to force this woman to become her best friend in exchange for letting her be with her husband. And I think she will probably treat the woman like she owes her, like she is entitled to a friendship with her. And I think the whole thing sounds gross. This isn't being done for the right reasons. Yari doesn't know if she can commit for now. She doesn't know if she wants to pursue this. She wants to think about it to decide if she could even do it. She says it's a lot. She has a lot to process. And Becky assures Yari that they are very patient, they're very considerate, and they always give people time to consider things. They get it. They know it's a lot to consider. Sure, yeah, they get it, and they're so patient and they're so considerate. But beware, if you want out, they will stalk you, they will drive 12 hours to come unannounced and show up at your door when they know they're unwelcome. They will show up there. They will also pay your gym membership to try and manipulate you to stay with them. But these two, yeah, they're totally considerate. They totally are considerate of people's boundaries. Totally. Becky feels there is a possibility that Yari could work out as a permanent sister wife, but she wants to spend more time with Yari to see where Yari's head is. Becky asks Yari if she wants to continue dating, and Yari says yes. Becky is thrilled. She is so happy with how tonight went, and she feels the best case scenario is things progress, Yari likes them both, and she commits permanently. Yari thinks Becky is sweet and she feels more comfortable having met her. And Justin feels for him, his best case scenario is that Yari will want to be with him and they'll all move in together and they will live happily ever after. Yeah, that's a fantasy world. That's a dream. Next up, we're back to Nick and Jasmine. Nick gets home from his date. He is all smiles, grinning from ear to ear, ready to gush about Jasmine. Danielle is waiting up, sitting in a dim, darkly lit room, waiting all alone on the couch for Nick. She says she feels restless, so she's staying up to see Nick when he gets home. Danielle is anxious, of course. She wants all of the details. She misses Nick, and so she is ready for him to come home, and she is waiting. She is on guard for that door to open. Nick walks in. It's late at night. He is careful to gently close the door. He is surprised that Danielle is waiting on the couch for him in this dark room. He is surprised to see her up. Danielle claims she couldn't sleep, so she was just casually watching TV, just acting normal. It's not like she was waiting to accost Nick about his date. Now, Nick wants to know how Danielle is doing, and he wonders, is Danielle up because she's just up, or is she up because of her anxiety about the dating situation? Nick explains to Danielle that he had fun, Jasmine is beautiful, he likes her a lot, they had a fun conversation, never a dull moment. And he points out that she can be off the wall, things always stay spicy with her. And then there's an awkward silence as Danielle asks if Nick and Jasmine kissed. And Danielle looks close to tears when Nick admits they did kiss. Nick thinks his hesitancy he had when Danielle asked him if he and Jasmine kissed was purely out of his concern for Danielle. He really hates to upset her. Nick says he doesn't know where he would rank the kiss, but he knows Jasmine is definitely interested. He felt the vibe. In a solo confessional scene, the producer asks Danielle how she feels about Nick kissing Jasmine. And Danielle says she would like to say 100% that her past issues with insecurity and jealousy are 100% past her, but she admits they are not. Danielle asks Nick if he thinks it went really well, and he says yes, and Danielle says good, and she's smiling, but her eyes say otherwise. Her eyes tell another story. Nick asks Danielle how she and her sister wives would feel about Jasmine coming over to the house to stay the night for a sleepover. And Danielle feels bringing someone into the family to spend a night is a very big deal. She feels Jasmine is beautiful, Jasmine is sweet. She thinks Jasmine gets along with all of them well. Jasmine is interesting, Jasmine is different. But Danielle says she does see potential there, but she tells Nick the best thing to do is just to take things slow. Maybe an overnight is too much. She wants everyone to really get to know each other slowly and to really enjoy the process to see if there are future steps. And she says there may not be. She wants to see where things go. I think Danielle is pointing out that there may not be future steps because she is hoping that there won't be. She will have to legally marry this Jasmine, and I don't think she wants to. I don't think she's really cool with dating. She makes it clear that she isn't. She says she wants to see where things go. She leaves it open with Nick, and she's giving Nick and her sister wives a totally different narrative than she gives in her confessionals. Now, Nick asks Danielle if she is sure if she knows that she is okay with this, if she is really okay with Jasmine spending the night. And Danielle says she thinks it's okay. Yeah, but her expression in her eyes, on her face, shows otherwise. Danielle admits in confessional that she is a people pleaser, and she knows sometimes she finds herself saying what people want to hear. And that's not always 100% how she truly feels. If you can't be honest with how you truly feel, that's not the place for you. That's not the relationship for you. Danielle doesn't know if maybe they're moving a little too fast, and she feels Jasmine spending the night is serious. Nick assures Danielle that everyone's opinions are important in the situation. All of their opinions matter. And he tells Danielle her opinion is very important in this situation in light of what happened with her just leaving so recently. In light of what they've just been through, Nick tells Danielle that her opinion is very important. He tells Danielle he doesn't mean to put this all on her head like she is the deciding factor, but he puts a lot of weight in her opinion and what she wants to do, and he wants to make sure that she is okay with this. Danielle tells Nick they need to spend more time together collectively to see if it's an option first. And Nick is happy that Danielle is at least feeling all right about Jasmine. Nick wonders, since Danielle is having trouble sleeping, if maybe they should go upstairs and see if he can maybe help her knock out. Vomit in my mouth. This guy is gross. This guy is the opposite of anything sexy at all on this planet. Gross. Nick says he knows this is a delicate situation. It's a tricky situation, but he hopes that they are moving at the right pace. He hopes this will be the right decision, and he says he would hate to do anything to make Danielle uncomfortable or to make her potentially leave the family again. Well, if Nick would hate for that, and Nick knows Danielle is just appeasing them on the dating thing, and he knows that she really isn't okay with this, and he is telling her basically that they are all good with it other than her, and she is the deciding factor and her opinion means so much, she feels even more that she has to go with the group, to be a valuable member of the group, to matter, to please them, to be wanted by them, to belong with them. If Danielle doesn't feel comfortable being honest with these people, if the other sister wives and Nick already know that Danielle isn't really okay with this and that she's just appeasing them, and they continue to allow her to people please with them when they know the truth and they're going on with the dating because they want this, then they really don't value Danielle and they really don't give a fuck about her. And Danielle should have kept her apartment, and she will wish she did. That does it for this episode. I'll be back next week with the next episode of Seeking Sister Wife, Season 5, Episode 12, Seeking Common Ground. Thanks for listening. I'll see you soon. Bye.